Greetings, once again, with blessings from more Giratina. I am Distortion Dunsparce, and I am back with another dark tale. Before we commence with the tale, I would like to point out that we are in for a special treat on Halloween night. Yes, the author of Pokemon Doomed Black contacted me and has sent me a link to his most recent of creepypastas. It may not be Pokemon related, but it is still top notch in my opinion. So be prepared for that. Saturday on Halloween. Anyway, our tale is called Incinerate. And we have a little girl. We're going to call her Kay. Kay finally got Pokemon Black the other day. About time too, because she was tired of hearing all of her friends talk about it and rubbing it in her faces. Why does she have multiple faces? That is creepy. Does that mean that she has two faces? Does that mean both of her butt cheeks have faces? Let's not get into details after that. Okay. She's gonna kick butt soon after she trains them all up a bit. Okay, who's them? Oh well. She just got her second badge too, which is fun. You know what else is awesome? Liberty Pass. Yep. About time on this thing. Took forever to figure out how to do the Wi-Fi on the DSi. But she finally got it working. I don't recall much on the islands where Victini is apparently dormant, but I do remember it fairly being weak, so I have to be careful. I think I can handle it though. Do you, Kay? Do you? I don't think you understand. After eating dinner, I quickly ran upstairs to catch my Victini. I booted up my DSi, then quickly skipped past the title screen so I could hurry to Liberty Pier. The sailor in front of the dock greeted me and then allowed me on board. As the boat drifted off screen, my heart began pounding in anticipation. I was finally going to catch Victini. We would go to first person mode as I touch in to her memories even deeper. Until I saw all the Team Plasma members on the island, I groaned, knowing that I would have to face every single one of them. Those losers, they always get in my way. But after I beat them, I could get my Victini. Well, it would be worth bubbling them, I guess. Plus, I could have some more experience gained by my team from them. Because that's all Team Plasma's good for. I brushed them off quickly, not even having to use any of my other Pokemon besides my Duat. His health did get pretty low in the health range from it, though, so I would be prepared for Victini to be throwing hits at him. I had to battle one more Team Plasma member, and then I saw the little Pokemon that will soon be mine. It wants to test your strength, Team Plasma member commented. Well, it was going to get a battle anyway. Duh, I walked up to Victini, and a battle commenced. I smiled widely as Victini's sprite appeared on screen, letting out a chirrup as the battle animation played. It wasn't as weak as I thought it would be, but it was still a pretty low level, 15. So I would have to be extra careful. Duat was too strong, being a level 28, so I sent out my level 20 herdier. From the swapping, Victini got the first hit. Victini used Incinerate, the game said. And suddenly, my herdier was engulfed in flames, which it did a whopping amount of damage too, by surprise. To my surprise, it was horrible. Luckily, it had been holding an orange berry. Okay, timeout. I thought Incinerate actually got rid of the berry. Or is that Flame Burst?
Oh well.
So it healed up a bit. I let my herdier use takedown, which lowered Victini's health to a dangerous level. Soon you will be mine, I said aloud, grinning as I swapped herdier out for my duat. Then I began to throw great balls at it. It took forever, and Duat's health was lowering, albeit slowly. When I reached my last great ball, I clutched my DSI tight as my trainer threw it. It shook. Once, twice, 3 times. Click! Yes! I cried, almost throwing my 3 DSI across the room in sheer happiness. Because if I actually would have done that, I would have never have my Victini and I would be in heartbreak. The victory music played. I smiled happily at the screen, clicking yes with the option to nickname the Pokemon. I typed Timothy, Timothy, little tiny Tim. After leaving, a sailor, I think, came and talked to my trainer. He told me that apparently, a long time ago, some people had tried to steal and capture Victini, but some guy wouldn't allow it. So for its safety, he felt it would be best to isolate Victini and seal it away. What's safe now is going to be strong traveling with me.
Something tells me that man kinda did something bad when he isolated the poor Victini. But what lets a story tell you that?
Upon leaving the island, I suddenly heard Timothy's cry play out in an agitated manner, and a text box appeared on the bottom of the screen.
Timothy doesn't like its Pokeball, it read.
That was weird, but maybe some special thing that came with the event. Well, whatever it was, Timothy's sprite was suddenly behind my trainer. When a happy sounding chirrup, he was following me around.
Wow. You thought that Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver had Pokemon following you around. Well, Victini says, I'm gonna follow you around. Also, my girly voice, it ain't all that great. I might switch out of it soon, because it's a pain. Just saying.
I didn't really mind, though. I headed back to Route 3 to train a little. I was almost obsessed with the fact that Timothy was following me around, and whenever I turned around to talk to him, he chirped happily and hopped a few times, a message always appearing that said stuff along the lines of, Timothy loves KR.
And now you know why I called her K.
That gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. After a while, I looked over to my clock on my nightstand and almost flipped out when it said 12:39. Holy crap! I had been playing that long? I moved to save my game, but it stopped suddenly. What would I do about Timothy? He couldn't just stay that way, could he? And I couldn't just put him back in his Pokeball, since he didn't like it. Then I remembered the daycare center just above the current town I was in.
Yeah, you must have flew to a different town. Yeah. The Striaton City. Oh well.
I headed off. I entered the building and talked to the old woman. I was given the option to either leave a Pokemon or take one back, so I chose to leave Timothy here. He would be okay until I came play again, I figured. But then, Timothy's cry suddenly played out of nowhere, sounding distinctly sad, and I felt bad for it, even more, when a text box appeared at the bottom of the screen.
Timothy doesn't want to leave you, it read. Okay. That was... Lord Giratina probably going to blackmail me for this. So I'm going to stop going deep into her mind and just do it third person. That tugged at my heartstrings, but I didn't just want to leave it waiting for me with the game off. At least it could play with some other Pokemon while I was gone. I'm sorry, baby. It's just for a little while, she whispered to her DSI, despite knowing, and it was stupid to do so. It was just a game. Timothy let out the same cry in response, although it was more whiny this time, but he let the daycare lady take him in back. Nonetheless, I smiled, glad that he understood. When I exited the building to save outside, Timothy was on the other side of the fence. Watching me closely, he let out a cry as if trying to call me over, but I seriously needed to get some sleep. I saved the game and turned it off. I slept the next day, waking up at about 12 in the afternoon, feeling pretty refreshed. I booted up the Pokemon Black and then chose continue. When I reached the screen, I smiled, ready to play my game again. Oh, ellipses. That ain't good. And then I almost screamed at what I saw. The daycare center was gone, completely. In its place, a file. Yes, I'm reading it word for word, as it is written. Apparently, there can be something called a file of ashes. I know it's a smoldering pile of ashes. Disbelief left little room in me for fear at what had caused this, but I couldn't help but stare at the pile. Then I noticed the daycare man was standing a little bit away. I walked over and talked to him. The daycare center has been incinerated, he told me as the text box appeared at the bottom of the screen. All the Pokemon are gone. That right there made fear jolt right through me. I don't know what caused this, but where was Timothy? I suddenly heard a happy chirp and saw my little Victini suddenly skipping over to me. I felt relief go through me, and I sighed a little. Unknown that Timothy was the villain that did it. I mean, it was incinerated. But enough about that. Timothy took his place behind me as we walked away from the remains of the building, and then I noticed how giddy he seemed to be. I turned around and talked to him, and his chirp came out like an amused giggle, almost. Timothy got away from the bad people, the game said. That disturbed me a bit. What bad people? He couldn't have meant the daycare people. They were so nice. All trainers leave their Pokemon with them. And some have Ditto make them babies. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I talked to him again, hoping to get an answer to why he felt so accomplished by this. Timothy will never leave you again. He read. Sent a chill down my spine, and suddenly my mind flashed back to when the game had said last night, Timothy D does not want to leave you. No, it couldn't be. I'm just being paranoid. Sweet little Timothy would never do something like that. I tried to forget and just continue my game. Maybe I can train him a little. Timothy still had a few levels to go before he would be up to par with the rest of my team. I decided I would level grind on some of the Pokemon around here, so I walked back up to the next route, ignoring the cinders of the daycare center as I passed it, and then headed into a patch of grass. Immediately a battle started. I grinned determinedly, ready to train my little guy until he could take on anything. While Lillipup appeared, the game said, level 8 apparently, as said by the health bar. Piece of cake, I thought to myself as I threw out Timothy. Oddly, the Lillipup seemed to shrink back a little when I threw out Timothy. I guess the game didn't have Timothy jump out himself. It may have considered it in the Pokeball, but whatever. I didn't pay no mind. I clicked fight out of the 4 options available and chose the move Incinerate. Timothy suddenly chirped happily, and the text said, Timothy will make you proud. And then the animation for the move Incinerate played, the fire suddenly engulfing the wild Lillipup. I covered my eyes as the Lillipup's agonizing cry suddenly rang from the speakers. I blinked, keeping my eyes closed for longer than I should have, and looked back at the screen. There was no more Lillipup. Instead, there was a pile of ashes. In its place was, and the game text would say, Wild Lillipup was incinerated. The text at the bottom of the screen read. I shuddered in horror at that. What had Timothy just done? I couldn't erase the sound of the Lillipup's dying cries from my mind. As the battle screen faded, I jumped when I heard Timothy chirp. Timothy wants to know if he did a good job. Yes, no, the game said. I hesitantly typed yes with my stylus, afraid of what might happen if I said no. because bad things probably will happen. Timothy chirped again, sounding like a giggle. Timothy wants to make you happy. I shuddered, attempting to step out of the grass, but I was launched into another battle. Wild Pidove appeared. The game said. I winced, trying to have him use confusion instead. It wouldn't work, though. Timothy wants your enemy to burn. And without even giving me the option, Timothy suddenly used Incinerate on the wild Pokemon, burning it instantly into a pile of ashes, and it, like the little pup, crying in agony and pain before it died. After the battle, I was asked once more if Timothy did a good job. I hesitantly tapped yes again, still afraid of what he would do if I said no. They continued a few more times, Timothy still refusing to use any attack but Incinerate, always giving me the message. Timothy wants your enemy to burn, before suddenly burning the wild Pokemon to ashes. You gotta wonder though, what would happen if you face the traitor's Pokemon? There are more enemies! I suddenly cried at the screen, unable to stop myself. Yeah, Kay. You think screaming at the screen will help? Or maybe it will, who knows? Innocent Pokemon! Leave them alone! Why are you doing this? I was breathing heavily now and felt my anger rise when a text box appeared at the bottom of the screen. Apparently, it was coming directly from Timothy himself. You aren't happy with me? He asked, and I was given a yes-no option. I can't tell you how quickly I hit no, but I did it for you, to make you happy. His overworld sprite seemed to twitch as he continued talking. You left me with those people. You were going to leave me, weren't you? Just like before. Suddenly his cry played, sounding very angry. But I escaped because I love you. I want to be with you, always. I'll never let you leave. Then a battle started, with Timothy on the opposing side. I was struck with horror, partly because I didn't want to fight my baby, but mostly because I knew what he could do, and he probably would do it too. All of my Pokemon would be ash. And I remember my Duat, knowing that he'd have a type advantage to Timothy. But when my trainer raised her Pokeball, Timothy's mouth suddenly curled into a cruel smirk. I won't give you that chance! Suddenly, my Pokeball burst into flames, and my trainer dropped it in horror. Timothy chirped happily, mingling with the agonized cries of my Duat. Aren't embers pretty? Timothy asked me. Although I really had no way to reply, each one of my Pokemon were burnt to a crisp inside their Pokeball, me having no way to stop it. Then my trainer appeared on screen. I was given the same option as a Pokemon, but right now, I had no intention of fighting him. I clicked run, the screen fading to black, and as soon as I could, I made my trainer belt it. You cannot escape. A text box appeared, and I didn't know whether it was the game or Timothy himself stating the obvious, but I was going to try anyway. Timothy called up quickly to me, jumping on my trainer. From the looks of it, and from what the scene was now showing, he had her pinned. His normally cute face was curled into a smirk. I was completely horrifying to look at. You're mine, he stated. I won't let you leave me. I was suddenly given a yes-no option, and without even knowing what to choose, I chose no. In bold letters at the bottom of the screen, the text slowly spelled out, Too bad! Timothy used Incinerate. And that concludes our tale. I like the fact that the author didn't go and mention that it was some bootleg game or anything of that sort. He just straight up treated it as a normal copy of Pokemon Black. Although, obviously according to the story's details, it may have had some modification in regards to Victini. But maybe it was a cursed cartridge. If you believe in the supernatural, of course, and the occult. But so ends our tale. So ends our tale. cage trainer probably died, but she was able to recall this horrible tale. And with that said, we are done. Thank you all for your time. I am Sparse of the Distortion World. Wishing you all a great day. Take care. Farewell. Love from the... Hey! What are you doing here? I'm saying the outro. Get out of here! I'm Dunsparce of the Distortion World. You're not even supposed to be here, Sparse. Well, fine. I was going to help. Yes. Anyway, I am Dunsparce of the Distortion World. Wishing you all a great day. Take care. Farewell. Love from the Sparse Army. Hell Dunsparce. Later, everyone.